Hi, welcome to Numina, the only place that's reverse engineered the College Board. We're going to show you how to solve these problems very quickly, with mathematical precision, and with 100% confidence. That means you no longer have to rely on the answer key, but purely on the power of knowledge. The mind is a powerful tool, and we're going to show you how to use it. Here's how it's done. Alright, so let's get started. Just as a note and a reminder, we're going to take you through how we would solve the problem, eliminating certain words and phrases that will help us eliminate different answer choices that will ultimately lead us to our answer. We're going to go through this first rather quickly, but this is how we would approach it and the speed we would approach it in a real live, real-time situation. So if you can't keep up, or if there's something you don't understand, don't worry. Right after this, we will break down the grammatical concepts and components that will help you figure this out and solve this problem. So here we go. When the news spread how new gold fields were discovered in Nome, Alaska, thousands abandoned Dawson, the site of the previous gold rush. I see an error in A. We're going to eliminate A. See the same error in B. Scanning C, I see another error in C. I see that same error in D, which leaves us with E. And I check E, and yes, E looks like our answer. So what do we do here? Well, let's look at the grammar. Now let's break this question down and look at the grammar concepts involved in solving this problem. For your convenience, we've listed some of the concepts in the upper top right corner, denoted by hashtags: subordination, pronoun, run-on, and parallel. The first hashtag, subordination. This concept is difficult for most students, so if you don't get it right away, don't worry. We have other videos on subordination that will help you. But for the purposes of this problem, just consider subordination to be a grammatical technique used to merge multiple ideas into a single sentence. Okay? Now let's look at the question. When the news spread how new goldfields were discovered in Nome, Alaska, thousands abandoned Dawson, the site of the previous gold rush. Now before we get into the choices, I want to look at the verb spread. Spread can be a transitive verb or an intransitive verb. If you don't know what an intransitive and a transitive verb is, listen up. A transitive verb is a verb that requires an object. Let's look at this example. John spread butter on his toast. We know that spread in this sentence is a transitive verb because it's taken on the object butter. Now what about spread as an intransitive verb? Well, let's just look at this sentence. The news spread. There's no object needed or necessary or required to follow spread. The idea in the sentence is understood after spread, the news spread. It's clear. Now, let's look at our choices. A. How new goldfields were discovered. Well, if you know anything about noun clauses, you'd realize that A is a noun clause. And you would know that noun clauses can function as either the subject or the object of a sentence. How is it functioning here? Well, it follows our verb spread, so we know it's trying to take the position of an object. And here's our problem. Since how new goldfields were discovered is trying to take the position of an object in our sentence, and we've already established that spread is an intransitive verb, we're trying to force an object behind an intransitive verb. This causes a subordination error. So this is why A is wrong. We're trying to force an object behind an intransitive verb that doesn't take on objects. We have the same error in B. B is also a noun clause. Again, noun clauses can take on the position of a subject or an object in the sentence, and in this sentence, these noun clauses are trying to take the position of an object, and they're trying to force their way behind an intransitive verb, spread, which is incorrect. Now, before we move on, there's another slight error here in B. But to help explain this error, I'm going to need a little help.
Okay, let's look at the sentence structure there was. Anytime you see there was, just immediately identify it as a weak sentence construction. Why is it a weak sentence construction? Well, oftentimes in English, we really want to identify the subject, the doer of the action. And also the verb should be very descriptive. Now let's look at there was. There is a pseudo subject, meaning that the subject isn't clearly identified. And was is not a very descriptive verb. That's not to say that we can never use the verb was, but clearly this sentence could be better written. Even the choice A is preferable to choice B. How new gold fields were discovered would be preferable to how there was discovery of new gold fields. Even the passive is preferable to the there was sentence construction. Now, that doesn't mean that anytime you see there was, the answer choice is automatically wrong. However, it should signify that there most likely exists a better answer choice. So with keeping that in mind, we can move on to C. Brian?
Thanks, Anthony. That was great. So, again, remember there was, and make a note. And if you need more help, we have other videos that go into more detail about there was. So let's look at choice C. About new goldfields, which they discovered. Well, we have a pronoun here, they. What's wrong with it? Well, looking back at the sentence, I can't find a logical plural noun that this they should refer to. It doesn't exist. So what kind of error do we have? We have a pronoun antecedent error. We do have other plural nouns in our sentence, goldfields and thousands, but logically they can't take on this pronoun they. So again, we have a pronoun antecedent error. And if you look ahead, we have the same error in D. And if you look closely, D has other errors as well. We underlined they were discovered. Now let's look at the sentence again. They were discovered in Nome, Alaska, comma, what? Thousands abandoned Dawson, the site of the previous gold rush. We have two independent clauses joined by only a comma. This causes a run-on sentence. Again, two independent clauses joined by only a comma leads to a run-on sentence, which is wrong. If we want to use a comma to combine these independent clauses, we would need the additional help of a conjunction after the comma, but we don't have one.
Another error in the sentence is that it doesn't follow a parallel structure. Let's read this question again with choice D. When the news spread about new gold fields, comma, and they were discovered in Nome, Alaska, thousands abandoned Dawson, the site of the previous gold rush. In this sentence, we have three clauses. The first clause is when the news spread about new gold fields. Now this clause is called a dependent clause. How do we know that it's a dependent clause? Just look at the word when. When is a subordinate conjunction. A subordinate conjunction creates dependent clauses.
That was great, Anthony's listening. So we have multiple errors in D. We have ambiguous pronoun or pronoun antecedent error with they. We have a run-on at the back part of the sentence with they were discovered in thousands abandoned Dawson. And as you pointed out, we have a parallel problem with a dependent clause, comma, and an independent clause. So D is definitely not our answer, which leaves us with E. Let's look at the sentence. When the news spread about new goldfields that had been discovered in Nome, Alaska, thousands abandoned Dawson, the site of the previous gold rush. What do you think about this sentence? Does it work? Does it make sense? Of course it does, especially because we have eliminated all the other choices with grammar. So we know confidently that E is our answer. But some of you may have questions about something present in E.
Let's look at this tense, had been discovered. Now, some of you are uncomfortable choosing an answer choice that contains a verb in the past perfect tense. But let's evaluate this tense and see if it's being used correctly. Now, the sentence could have been written when the news spread about new goldfields that were discovered in Nome, Alaska. Thousands abandoned Dawson, the site of the previous gold rush. That sentence would have been fine. However, this sentence is better. Why? Because let's look at the verb had been discovered. One of the uses of the past perfect tense is to point out that one action preceded another. In this case, the discovery of the gold in Nome, Alaska preceded the news about it. So, the action of being discovered came before the act of being spread. In order for us to denote that, we would need the past perfect tense. So when we read this sentence, we clearly know that the gold had been discovered before the news about it had spread. So choice E is actually the perfect choice.
Again, if you have any questions on any of the grammar concepts mentioned in this question, please refer to any of our other videos, and we're sure that you'll be able to find your answers there. Okay, now that you've already been exposed to the grammar that's involved in this and the explanations, let's see if you can solve this question any better than you did the first time, which you should. I'll read the question and we'll go through the answer choices. See if you can review your notes and apply the points a lot better. Number 4. When the news spread how new goldfields were discovered in Nome, Alaska, thousands abandoned Dawson, the site of the previous gold rush. Okay? Ready? Go. All right. Did you get all the errors? Do you remember all the errors? If not, just replay this video or go to our archives and learn about subordination, pronouns, run-ons, and parallels. And we'll see you next time. Numina, Empowering Minds.